So what is surveying? Surveying or land surveying, plain surveying, geodetic surveying is a technique, profession, art and science of determining the terrestrial or three-dimensional positions of points and the distances and angles between them. And the person or the professional who is doing all these activities is called as a surveyor. If it is a land survey, then it is the professional called as a land surveyor. Okay. So it is a technical definition. In simple language, what you can say, that measuring the distances and plotting them on a paper, right, in simple language. So while as a civil engineer, you need to prepare a plan before executing the actual construction practices. Your planning should be perfect. What you are going to do, that should be on paper. And for this thing, your surveying is required. So we will see some of the basics in this subject and also the important questions on the basics. So plane table surveying is there and compass surveying is there as far as your syllabus of unit 1 is considered. So what is the plane table survey? In plane table surveying, you are having one instrument which is called as the plane table, which is normally a wooden table having certain accessories as shown in this figure, such as the alidate is there, plumb bob is there for the alignment, bubble tube is also there. Then compass is there, scale is there, drawing pencil is there, and by focusing the points, you draw the straight lines alignments and you complete the polygon or traverse. So this is about the plane table survey. Now the compass survey, in which a compass is used to measure the angles, accurate angles between the two lines, and simultaneously the traverses get plotted and internal angles are measured. So these are the two instruments. Initially we have used it in old times. Plane table is a non-digital instrument which was efficiently used for simple surveys. Now, what is the compass survey and what are the objects of compass survey? So compass surveying is a type of surveying in which the direction of the survey lines are measured with the help of compass and length of the survey lines are measured with the help of chain or tape. So initially the tape was not present in the old times, so the chains were used having the various links of the equal length. So that constitutes the chains, and that chains were used to measure the distances between the two station points. Now the second basic question is what are the names of the instruments that used in the chain survey? So the instrument is the compass, surveyor compass, and prismatic compass. So also one advanced instrument such as the theodolite was also used in recent times. Now what is the surveyor's compass and prismatic compass? Prismatic compass do have the prism, while in surveyor compass the prism is not there. That is the only difference. Now the another basic question is about the meridian and bearing. So what is the true meridian? As in this image on the right side, as you can see here, true meridian, true bearing, magnetic meridian and magnetic bearing are shown. Now one by one we will try to explain all these things. So what is a true meridian? The line or plane passing through the geographical North Pole, South Pole and any point on the surface of the earth is known as the true meridian. You all know that the earth is having a spherical shape, out of which we are having the two poles. One is the North Pole and one is the South Pole. So now North Pole is directed to north, South Pole is directed to south. But we are also having two more poles. That is the magnetic North Pole and magnetic South Pole. Now what is this magnetic North and magnetic South? When you tie a small needle of the magnet to a thread and when you freely suspend it in the air, then that magnetic needle will get aligned to the magnetic north and magnetic south. So that north is slightly tilted as compared to your original north. That is the geographic north. And that bearing is your magnetic bearing. And that north is your magnetic north and that south is your magnetic south. Okay. While as actual North Pole and actual South Pole, that straight line is your true bearing. True bearing means true meridian. And this is your magnetic meridian. The line joining the magnetic north and magnetic south will be your magnetic meridian. The line joining the actual north and actual south will be your true meridian. Now, whenever you have such a line, whenever you will have such a line, any line, and if you try to measure the alignment of that line with respect to the true meridian, true north, or what you can say with respect to the true meridian, that is this green line, then this type of angle will be your true bearing of that particular line. And if you measure the angle with respect to the magnetic meridian, then that angle will be your magnetic bearing. So you understand the difference between true bearing and magnetic bearing. True bearing is measured with the true meridian and magnetic bearing is measured with the magnetic meridian. Meridian means a straight line joining the North Pole and South Pole. If it is true north, true south, then it will be true meridian. If it is magnetic north, magnetic south, then it will be your magnetic meridian. That is the only difference. Okay. So I hope that it is cleared from this diagram, from this image. This green dotted line is nothing but your a line of which the bearing is to be measured. Now for this green line, we have measured the two bearings. That is the true bearing and magnetic bearing. Okay. So why these two things are there? Because there are two north poles and two south poles, right? One is exact north pole and one is the magnetic north pole. So that's why these two different things are in existence. Now after that, you can have the definitions of this magnetic meridian and magnetic bearing. So magnetic meridian at a point is the direction indicated by freely suspended, properly balanced and unaffected magnetic needle at that point. What is the magnetic bearing? The angle between the magnetic meridian and the survey line for which the angle is to be measured. That is your survey line, and that is known as the magnetic bearing or bearing of that line. So it changes. It changes means it may change as per the location, right? Because of the local attraction or your location of your survey station, there might be a slight change in your reading as far as this magnetic bearing is considered. Okay, but that change will be very small, so that can be neglected. Now after that, what do you understand by the whole circle bearing and quadrantal bearing of a line? Magnetic bearings are designated by whole circle bearing system and quadrantal bearing system. Now, whole circle bearing and quadrantal bearing, that is the thing. As you can see in this first image, in this image at the left side bottom, you can see the four quadrants are. That is the northeast quadrant, northwest quadrant, southwest quadrant, and southeast quadrant. So the 360-degree rotation whole circle angle is been equally divided into the four equal parts, and that equal parts are of the 90-degree, and that are the quadrants. So in simple language, we call it as a Cartesian coordinate system as far as the graphs are considered. First quadrant, second, third, and fourth quadrant. In first quadrant, both x and y axis are positive, right? So we have learned all these things. In third quadrant, x and y both are negative. So we already have learned these things. So similarly, when you consider this angle, the quadrantal bearing is there, in which the 360 degrees divided into the four angles, and in whole circle bearing, the angle is measured with respect to north in complete circle. Means the reading will vary from 0 degree to 360 degree, and in quadrantal bearing the reading will vary from 0 degree to 90 degree. That is the difference. Okay, now we will understand it in detail, that the difference between this whole circle bearing and quadrantal bearing. So the quadrantal bearing is also called as the reduced bearing because the values are reduced as compared to WCB. WCB means whole circle bearing. Okay, and we measure this angle in clockwise direction with respect to the magnetic north. If you measure it with respect to magnetic north, then it will be your magnetic bearing. Bearing means angle. So remember this thing. Whatever the angle that we have measured with respect to magnetic north will be your magnetic bearing in a clockwise direction, and it will vary from 0 degree to 360 degree. Now in quadrantal bearing system, what will happen? The bearing of line is measured in eastward or westward, from north or south, whichever is nearer. The directions can be either clockwise or anti-clockwise. It will vary from 0 degree to 90 degree. Now I will explain it to you. Suppose that this is your one coordinate system. Now this is your north, this is south, this is east, and this is west. Okay. Now after that, what is this reduced bearing and quadrantal bearing? You are having this line and you have measured this angle as theta. Okay. Now this theta angle is with respect to this north pole or north direction. It is facing towards the east direction. So you are going from north to east. Suppose that this value is of 30 degree. So let us assume this value as 30 degree. Then the reduced bearing for this line will be equal to north 30 degree east. North 30 degree east will be the your reduced bearing, or what we called it as a quadrantal bearing. So reduced bearing is also known as the quadrantal bearing. So north 30 degree east will be the value of your this angle measured in a quadrantal bearing system. Okay. Now similarly, we will see one more example. Again, if your line is like this, having the angle this as 40 degree. Let us assume that this angle is 40 degree. Then what will be the reduced bearing for this line, blue line? That reading will be south 40 degree west. So this will be the reading for this blue line. You are going from south to west. So remember one thing, that in quadrantal bearing, you are going to measure the angle from either north or either south only. While in whole circle bearing, you are going to measure this complete angle. You are going to measure this complete angle. Now what will be the whole circle bearing of this blue line? 180 plus 40 degree. 180 plus 40 degree is 220 degree will be your whole circle bearing. So remember this thing. You can convert from whole circle bearing to reduced bearing, and from reduced bearing to whole circle bearing. You can convert these things. We have added 180 degree to this 40 degree, so that we got the 220 degree, which is nothing but your whole circle bearing. And from whole circle to reduce, we can subtract 40 degree from this 220 degree to get the reduced bearing or quadrantal bearing, which is south 40 degree west. Now for this first case, the reduced bearing and whole circle bearing will be same, because how you measure the whole circle bearing? It is measured from north in this direction, right? So therefore, what will happen? You are going to measure it in clockwise direction. So north 30 degree east is the reduced bearing, and same thing will be your, what you can say, whole circle bearing. So whole circle bearing for this thing will be equal to again 30 degree, which will be same because it is lying in first quadrant. So that's why this reading will be same. So I hope that you understood this reduced bearing and whole circle bearing. So let's move ahead. Now we have seen the two names of compass. One is the prismatic compass and one is the surveyor compass. So what is the prismatic compass? In prismatic compass, the reading is taken with the help of prism provided at the eye slit. The sighting and reading taken can be done simultaneously from one position of the observer. So in prismatic compass, the prism is provided, which is absent in the surveyor's compass. So in surveyor's compass, the reading is taken directly by seeing through the top of the glass, not through the prism. So this is the main difference between the surveyor compass and prismatic compass. So sighting and reading cannot be done simultaneously from one position of the observer. So this is the disadvantage of surveyor's compass. That sighting means focusing on the object is the sighting, and reading taking means taking the reading of the bearing of that station point. So these two things cannot be done simultaneously as far as your surveyor's compass is considered, but in prismatic compass you can do these two things at a time because of the presence of prism, and that's why prismatic compass is preferred over the surveyor's compass because of this advantage. Now, one more important term in surveying, or you can say the most important term in surveying, is the forebearing and backbearing. Because you go in any type of project, any type of work, this thing will definitely be there, that is forebearing and backbearing as far as the surveying is considered. So the bearing of line, which is measured in the direction of the progress of the survey, is called as the forebearing. In short form, we called it as FB. FB is forebearing here. The bearing of line measured in the direction opposite to the survey, means opposite to the progression or progress of the survey, opposite to the direction of survey, opposite to the continuation of survey, is called as the back bearing of that line. Now one formula is there which is used to calculate the back bearing from the forebearing and forebearing from the back bearing. So back bearing is equal to forebearing plus minus 180 degree. Forebearing is greater than 180 degree, then you can use the negative sign in this formula. If forebearing is smaller than 180 degree, then you can use the positive sign in this formula. Now why this formula is used? This formula is used for the interconversion from forebearing to backbearing and from backbearing to forebearing. This formula is used. Okay. Let's have the example. Suppose that your reading is 220 degree. Suppose your back bearing given as 220 degree and you need to find the forebearing out of which. So as far as this formula is considered, how you can calculate the forebearing? Forebearing is equal to 220 degree. Now if your forebearing is smaller than 180 degree, then use this sign. If it is forebearing is greater than 180 degree, so this formula can be interchanged. So therefore 220 degree minus 180 degree, because it is greater than the 180 degree, so that's why the value will be 220 minus 180, that will be again 40 degree. So in this way you can get the answer by using this formula. Remember one thing, that there will always be a difference of 180 degree in forebearing and back bearing. So this thing will never change. That the difference between forebearing and back bearing must be 180 degree at any condition, at any cost. If it is not 180 degree, then you may call it as error in your what you can say traversing or readings or surveying, whatever the activities you are doing, you will find an error in that activities. So if this difference is not 180 degree, so you can always cross check these things, you can measure these things, that the difference must be 180 degree. So this is a method of cross checking. So in exam also you may find small numericals as far as the online exams are considered. Now let's see this numerical on the forebearing and back bearing. The forebearing of line AB is 155 degree 25 minutes and 20 seconds, right? So degrees, minutes and seconds, such it is such like it is similar to our clock system, right? Our minute and second is similar to this, that is degrees, minutes and seconds. So 155 degree 25 minutes and 20 seconds. Identify the back bearing of the line AB in quadrantal system. Okay, so the forebearing of line AB is 155 degree 25 minutes and 20 seconds. How you can find the back bearing of line AB? By using the simple formula, back bearing is equal to forebearing plus 180 degree. Okay, so why this 180 degree plus sign is taken? Because the previous value is less than 180 degree. 155 degree is less than 180 degree. So that's why we will add 180 degree to it, and we will get the 335 degree 25 minute 20 seconds. That will be your again whole circle bearing. Both readings are whole circle bearing. And after getting the whole circle bearing, you can convert it to the reduced bearing, that is the quadrantal bearing. You can deduct this value from 360 degree because it will lie in fourth quadrant, right? You can understand it by using this simple diagram. So the value is 335 degree means like this. This will be your 335 degree. That is 155 plus 180. So 335 degree will be your value of whole circle bearing. That is this. Okay. Now, if you want to find the reduced bearing, means what? You want to find this red angle. That is the reduced bearing. Okay. So 360 minus 335, you will get 24 degree 34 minute will be this as a reduced bearing. Now this is your north direction, this is your west direction. So you are going from north to west, right? So therefore, what will be this value finally? North 24 degree, west 24 degree and 34 minutes and 40 seconds after having the correct calculation. North 24 degree 34 minute and 40 second, west will be your correct answer for the reduced bearing. So in this way you are able to solve these numericals if you know this formula, right? So this formula is important. Back bearing is equal to forebearing plus minus 180 degree. You will use plus sign if it is less than 180. If it is greater than 180 degree, then you can use this minus sign. Okay, so I hope that you got this point clear. Okay, This is all about this our today's lecture. In shortly, we have discussed all the details of the basics of the survey and the important questions.